The complete work of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 3, Section 4, The Religion We Are Born In. At an open air meeting convened at Dhaka on the 31st March 1901, the Swamiji spoke in English for 2 hours on the above subject before a vast audience. The following is a translation of the lecture from a Bengali report of a disciple. In the remote past, our country made gigantic advance in spiritual ideas. Let us today bring before our minds eyes that ancient history. But the one great danger in meditating over last long past greatness is that we cease to exert ourselves for new things and content ourselves with vegetating upon the bygone ancestry glory and priding ourselves upon it. We should guide against that in ancient times there were no doubt many rishis and maharishis who came face to face with truth. But if this recalling of our ancient greatness is to be of real benefit, we too must become rishis like them. Not only that, but it is my firm conviction that we shall be even greater rishis than any any that any that our history presents to us. In the past, signal were our in the past, signals were our attainments. I glory is in them, and I feel proud in thinking of them. I am not even in despair at seeing the present degradation, and I am full of hope in picturing to my mind what is to come in the future. Why? Because I know the seed undergoes a complete transformation. The seed has seed, is seemingly destroyed before it develops into a tree. In the same way, in the midst of our present degradation lies only dormant for a time the potentiality of the future greatness of our religion, ready to spring up again, perhaps more mightily and glorious than ever before. Now let us consider what are the common grounds of our agreement in the religion we are born in. At first sight, we undeniably find various differences among our sects. Some are Advaitists, some are Vishishta Advaitists, and others are Dvaitists. Some believe in incarnation of God, some in image worship, while others are upholding holders of the doctrine of the formless. Then, as to custom also, various differences are known to exist. The Jatas are not outcasted even if they marry among the Mohammedans and Christians, they can enter into any Hindu temple without adherence. In many villages in the Punjab, one who does not eat swine will hardly be considered a Hindu. In Nepal, a Brahmin can marry in the four Varnas, while in Bengal, a Brahmin cannot marry even among the subdivision of his own caste, so on and so forth. But in the midst of all these differences, we note one point of unity among all Hindus, and it is this that no Hindu eats beef. In the same way, there is a great common ground of unity underlying the various forms and sects of our religion. First, in discussing the scriptures, one fact stands out prominently that only those religions which had one or many scriptures of their own has their basic advanced by leaps and bounds and survived to the present day, notwithstanding all the persecution and repression hurled against them. The Greek religion, with all its beauty, die out in the absence of any scriptures to support it. But the religion of the Jews stands undiminished in its power, being based upon the authority of the Old Testament. The same is the case with the Hindu religion. With the scriptures, the Vedas, the oldest in the world, the Vedas are divided into Karmakand and Jnanakand. Whether for good or for evil. Karma Kand has fallen into disuse in India, though there are some Brahmins in the Deccan who still perform yajnas now and then with the sacrifice of goat. And also, we find here and there traces of the Vedic Kriya Kand in the mantras used in connection with our marriage and Shraddha ceremonies. But there is no chance of it's been rehabilitated on its original footing. Kumaril, Kumarila Bhatta once tried to do so, but he was not successful in his attempt. The Jnana Khanda of the Vedas comprises the Upanishad and it is known by the name of Vedant, the pinnacles of the Shrutis, as it is called. Wherever you find the Acharyas quoting a passage from the Shrutis, it is invariably from the Upanishad. The Vedanta is now the religion of the Hindus. If any sect in India wants to have its ideal ideas established with a firm hold on the people, it must base them on the authority of the Vedanta. They all have to do it, whether they are dualist or Advaitist. Even the Vaishnavis have to go to Gopala Tappini Upanishad to prove the truth of their own theories. If a new sect does not find anything in the Shrutis in confirmation of its ideas, it will go even to the length of manufacturing a new Upanishad and making it pass current as one of the old original production. There have been many such in the past. Now, as the Vedas, the Hindus believe that they are not mere books composed by men in some remote ages. They hold them to be an accumulated mass of endless divine wisdom, which is sometimes manifested and at other times remain unmanifested. Commentator Say- Sayanacharya Commentator Sayanacharya says somewhere in his works, Yo Vedebhyo Akhilam Jagata Nirmame, who created the whole universe out of the knowledge of the Vedas. No one has ever seen the composer of the Vedas, and it is impossible to imagine one. The rishis were only the discoverers of the mantras or eternal laws. They merely came face to face with the Vedas, the infinite mine of knowledge which has been there from the time without beginning. Who are these rishis? Vasta, Vatsalyana says, he who has attained through proper means the direct realization of dharma, he alone can be a rishi, even if he is a Michal, Milchacha by birth. Thus it is that in ancient times Vashishta Vashishta, born of an illegitimate union, Vyas, the son of fisherwoman, Narada, the son of the maid servant, with uncertain parentage, and the many others of like nature attended to Rishud. Truly speaking, it comes to this then that no distinction should be made with one who has realized the truth. If the person just named all become if the person just named all became rishis, then you, Kulin Brahmin of the present day, how much greater rishis you can become. Strive after the rishihood, stop not till you have attained the goal, and the whole world will of itself bow to your feet. Be a rishi, that is the secret of power. This Ved is our only authority, and everyone has the right to it. Yathe mam vacham कल्याणीम् अवधानि जनेभ्यः ब्रह्मराजान्याभ्यां शूद्राय चार्याय च स्वाय चारणाय. Thus says the Shukla Yajurved. Can you show any authority from the Vedas of ours that everyone has not the right to it? The Puranas, no doubt, say that a certain caste has the right to such and such a recension of the Vedas, or a certain caste has no right to study them, or that this portion of the Vedas is for the Satyug and that portion is for the Kalyug. But mark you, the Veda does not say so. It is only your Puranas that do so. But can the servant dictate to the master? The Smritis, the Puranas, the Tantras, and all these are acceptable only so far as they agree with the Vedas. And wherever they are contradictory, they are to be rejected as unreliable. But nowadays we have put the Puranas on even a higher pedestals than the Vedas. The study of Vedas has almost disappeared from Bengal. How I wish that day will soon come when it every home the Ved will be worshipped together with Shaligram, the household deity. When the young, the old, the woman will inaugurate the worship of the Veda. I have no faith in the theories advanced by Western servants with regard to the Vedas. They are told today fixing the antique of the Vedas at a certain period, and again tomorrow upsetting it and bringing it 100 years forward, and so on. However, about the Puranas, I have told you that they are authoritatively only in so far as they agree with the Vedas, otherwise not. In the Puranas, we find many things which do not agree with the Vedas. As for instance, it is written in the Puranas that some one 10,000 years, another 20,000 years, but in the Vedas we find Shatayur Purushaha. Shatayur Purushaha. Man lives indeed 100 years. Which are we to accept in this case? Certainly the Vedas. Notwithstanding statements like this, I do not depreciate the Puranas. They contain many beautiful and illuminating teachings and the words of wisdom of yoga, bhakti, jnana, and karma. Those, of course, we should accept. Then there are the Tantras. The real meaning of the word Tantra is Shastra. As, for example, Kapila Tantra. But the word Tantra is generally used in the limited senses. Under the sway of king, which took up Buddhism and preached broadcast the doctrine of ahimsa. The performances of the Vedic Yaga Yajnas became a thing of the past, and no one could kill any animal in sacrifice for fear of the king. But subsequently, among the Buddhists themselves, who were converted from Hinduism, the best part of the Yaga Yajna were taken up and practiced in secret. From this sprang up the Tantras, bearing some of the abominable things in the Tantras, such as the Vamacharya, etc. The Tantras are not high and sublime. The Tantras are not so bad as people are inclined to think. There are many high and sublime Vedantic thoughts in them. In fact, the Brahmana portion of the Vedas were modified a little and incorporated into the body of the Tantra. All the forms of our worship and ceremonials of the present day, comprising the Karma Kanda, are observed in accordance with the Tantra. Now let us discuss the principle of our religion a little. Notwithstanding the difference and the controversies existing among our various sects, there are in them two several grounds of unity. First, almost all of them admit the existence of the three things, three entities, Ishwar, Atma, and Jagat. Ishwar is He who is eternally creating, preserving, and destroying the whole universe. Accepting the Sankyas, all the others believe in this. Then the doctrine of the Atman and the reincarnation of the soul. It maintains that innumerable individual soul, having taken body after body, again and again, go round and round in the wheel of birth and death according to their respective karmas. This is samsara vada. This is samsara vada, or as it is commonly called the doctrine of rebirth. Then there is the Jagat, or the universe without beginning and without end. Though some hold these three as a different phases of one only, and some others has three distinctly different entities, and the others again is various other ways, yet they are all unanimous in believing in these three. Here I should ask you to remember that Hindus from time immemorial knew the Atman as separate from Manas, that is mind, but the Occidentals could never soar beyond the mind. The West knows the universe to be the full of happiness, and as such it is to them to it is to them a place where they can enjoy the most, but the East is born with the conviction that this samsara, this ever-changing existence is full of misery, and as such it is nothing but unreal, not worthy bartering the soul for its ephemeral joys and possessions. For this very reason, the West is ever especially adroit in organized actions, and so also the East is ever bold in search of the mysterious of the eternal world. Let us, however, turn now to one or two other aspects of Hinduism. There is a doctrine of the incarnation of God. In Vedas, we find mention of Matsya Avatar, the fish incarnation only. Whether all believe in this doctrine or not is not the point. The real meaning, however, of this Avtaravadha is to worship, is the worship of man. To see God in man is the real God vision. The Hindus does not go through nature to nature God. The Hindus does not go through nature to nature gods. He goes to the God of man through man. Then there is a image worship. Except the five devatas, except the five devatas, who are to be worshipped, is ever auspicious karma as enjoyed in our shastras. All the other devatas are merely the name of certain state held by them. But again, these five devatas are not but the different names of one god only. This external worship of image has, however, been described in all our shastras as the lowest of all, the lower form of worship. But that does not mean that it is the wrong thing to do. Despite the many iniquities that have found entrance into the practice of the image worship, as it is in vogue now, I do not condemn it. Where would I have been if I had not been blessed with the dust of the holy faith of that orthodox image worshipping Brahmin, those reformers who preach against image worship, or what they denounce as idolatry? To them I say, brothers, if you are fit to worship God without form, discarding all external help, do so. But why do you condemn others who cannot do the same? A beautiful large edifice, the glorious relic of the hoary antiquity has, out of out of neglect or disuse, fallen into the dilapidated conditions. Accumulation of dirt and dust may be lying everywhere within it. Maybe some portion are Maybe some portions are tumbling down to the ground. What will you do to it? Will you take in hand the necessary cleansing and repair, and thus restore the old? Or will you put the whole edifice down to the ground and seek to build another in its place? After a sordid modern plan whose permanence has yet to be established, we have to reform it, which truly and repair not, which truly means to make ready or perfect by necessary cleansing and despair, not by demolishing the whole thing. There the function of reform ends. When the work of renovation, the old is finished. What further necessity does it serves? Do that if you can. If not, hands off. The band of reformers in our country wants, on the contrary, to build up a separate sect of their own. They have, however, done good work. May the blessings of God be showered on their head. But why should you, Hindus, want to separate yourself from the great common fold? Why should you feel ashamed to take the name of Hindu, which is your greatest and the most glorious possession? This national sheep of yours, you children of the immortals, my countrymen, has been plying for ages, carrying civilization and enriching the whole world with its inestimable treasures. For scores of shining centuries, this national ship of ours has been ferried across the ocean of life and has taken millions of souls to the other shore beyond all misery. But today it may have sprung a leak and got dangerous through your own fault or whatever cause it mattered not. What would you, who have placed yourself in it, do now? Would you go about crushing it and quarreling among yourself? Would you not all unite together and put your best efforts to stop the holes? Let us all gladly give our hearts blood to do this. And if we fail in the attempt, let us all sink and die together, with blessing and not curses on our lips. And to the Brahmins I say, vain is your pride of birth and ancestry. Shake it off. Brahminhood, according to your Shastras, you have no more now, because you have for so long lived under militia kings. If you have all, if you at all believe in the words of your own ancestor, then go this very moment and make expiations by entering into the slow fire kindling by Tusha, that is Husker, like that old Kumarila Bhatt, who, with the purpose of ousting the Buddhist, first became a disciple of Buddhist and then defeating them in argument because the cause of death to many, and subsequently entered the Tushanala to expiate his sin. If you are not bold enough to do that, then admit your weakness and stretch forth a helping hand, and open the gates of knowledge to one and all, and give the downtrodden masses once more their just and legitimate rights and privilege.